Hey guys. So today in Tennessee it's a little gloomy outside. It's raining and also can't go anywhere. So I thought this would be the perfect time to make a video with TV shows to binge watch. I am pretty bad about spending a lot of my time binge watching shows. So I have a lot of suggestions. So my family, we got rid of cable and now we only have streaming services. We have YouTube TV, which is where my parents watch, the news and their live stuff. And then Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. So the first one, we're going to start out with the shows to watch on Netflix. The first one is Stranger Things, obviously. I mean, if you have Netflix and you've never watched Stranger Things, I just don't know what's wrong with you, and I hope you're okay. But there's 3 seasons. Can't wait for season 4. I'm ready for it. So that's definitely one that you can just sit and get lost in forever. It's so good. The next one is Lost in Space. This one's a little interesting. I think if you're into sci-fi, mystery type of shows, it's definitely one to watch. I think I watched it within a week, and there's 2 seasons out. It's basically just about I think the Earth can't live on it anymore, so they're sending test families up to space to find planets to live on and all this stuff. So it's pretty good. My third one is Lock and Key. This just came out recently. I think it's based on a novel. It's very much like Hugo, that movie. I think it's very much like that in a sense that it's... I don't even remember Hugo. I don't know why I'm saying that. I think it's by the same author though. Very intriguing, very fantasy-like. It's pretty good. Next, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So I've seen the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch show. I haven't finished all of it because I feel like TV shows back in when I was growing up, it was there's a problem and there's a solution, and the whole time they're just trying to figure out how to solve something, and I feel like it was very much a moral lesson of right and wrong. But this Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is nothing like that. It's very how do I put the satanic, which kind of scary. I don't know how to put. It's just scary in the sense that they literally worship the devil, and so it's kind of an acquired taste. I was kind of, after watching the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch compared to this, it's 2 different stories. So you just definitely have to be prepared for something like that. So the next one, this one's probably up there with my top favorites of Netflix shows, is called The Society. It's basically about this town where all the parents disappear, and it's all these teenagers running this town trying to figure out how to survive on what they have left. And they've tried to get out, find their parents, and it's an alternate universe basically. It's just really good, and I think I watched it within a couple days. And I think season 2 comes out this year, so super excited. That's one of my top recommendations, is The Society. Next one is a classic, The Office. If you've never seen The Office, you have to watch it. It's a must watch. Because I don't like Friends. And I know a lot of people, it's they love Friends and they don't love The Office. They love The Office, they don't love Friends. I think it's 2 different types of comedy, but I love dry comedy. And The Office is very much like that. So, I mean, you have to watch it. Next one is New Girl. New Girl's been out for a while, but it's one of those that's just, it's very funny. It's just this girl that moves into this loft with 3 guy roommates, and it's just their life, and it's so funny. It's really funny. Highly recommend. Next one is All American. I think it's inspired by a true story of a football player. Basically this kid gets recruited to a school in Beverly Hills, and he's from like, I wouldn't, just a poorer area of town, and so this family takes him in, and he basically plays football for a very rich school, and you kind of see how both sides of where he's from and where he's living now, how they work together and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I know a lot of people lately have been watching that, so, but highly recommend. My next one is it's called Blacklist. He's on the top wanted list for the FBI, and basically he works a deal with this small FBI unit and says that he will give them the names of like serial killers and people on the most wanted list as long as he gets immunity. So it's really cool to see how they kind of work together, and how like he still leads his life of crime, but they don't know that. So pretty cool. My last Netflix show is That 70s Show. It's basically a show making fun of the 70s, and it's just really funny. Like, they have this character named Fez. Hilarious. That's just another one of those like lighthearted shows that I would recommend if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm sick of like dark shows. Well, That 70s Show is definitely one. So now we're gonna talk about shows on Hulu. I kind of like Hulu. I think they have a broader selection than, say, Netflix. They also have just more like diverse genres, I think. They're better on the movie front than I think the TV show front, but like they have all seasons of like everything, and you can also watch certain shows the day after they air on Hulu, and I like that aspect of it. So my first one on Hulu is The Good Place. I know that's offered on Netflix, but I've watched it on Hulu, and I think they have all the seasons. Where Netflix, I don't think they've updated it to where the last season's on there. But it's a good, lighthearted, funny one. I definitely like the first season better than the rest of it, but it's still a funny show. Next one is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, this one I really had to kind of force myself to watch, because the first couple of episodes are just like, this guy's like just stupid. That's all you think, and you're like, I don't get what's funny about this show, but I really had to like keep watching it, and it got a lot better. And that's one of them where they put them out every week, or like the day after it's aired. And I really like it. I think the comedy is kind of similar to The Office, and the camera work is very similar to The Office, like the quick cuts and stuff. So that's a fun aspect. Next is Manifest. I actually just finished watching the updated episode, but it's basically about this plane that like nobody knows what happened to it, but they land and they are told that they've been missing for 5 years and nobody knew where they were, and to them they were on the plane for like how many ever hours it took them to get back home, and so it's just them trying to figure out what happened, and it's very interesting. Highly recommend it. Next is Beverly Hills 90210. Not the new updated version that they made, I think, I want to say 2010, I think is when they made it, but this is the original one, way back in the 90s. It's, one thing I will say is it's long. There's so many seasons, and it starts to get to where you're like, oh my god, I can't stand these characters anymore. Like, can you just get with this person? Can you just, oh my goodness. But it's very cool to see, like, I guess their outfits, how they, you know, they're also very cute. All the characters are very cute. Luke Perry's in it. R.I.P. to him because he's beautiful. Like, he literally looks the same as when he was young to when now. He was in that show, the show Riverdale, before he passed away. Like, so beautiful. So, highly recommend Beverly Hills 90210, which is, you can only find that on Hulu. I haven't found it anywhere else. So, next, of course, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They have all the seasons on there. They don't upload the new ones until until the next season comes out. But I think I spent one summer binge watching the Kardashians from 1 to like 15, and I haven't stopped. So those, if you like that reality stuff, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is on Hulu. Next, I'm currently watching Law & Order SVU. I think it's an acquired taste. It's very, like, obviously it's about sex crimes, so it can be very like, scary at times, because you're like, that could happen to anyone, including me. So I kind of watch it in segments, so I'm not, like, my brain isn't going crazy. And they have all the seasons through, like, 20, I think, on there. So next, Marvel's Runaways is really good. It's, like, hard to explain. It's kind of like their parents are, like, in a cult, and, like, it's weird, but it's interesting, and it's got a good plot line. Next is Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. It's definitely one to watch. I think they only did 2 seasons. I don't think they're coming out with a third. So it's just a quick little one to watch if you're like, I need something to watch. Marvel's Cloak and Dagger is a good one. The last one on Hulu is The Bold Type. I love The Bold Type. So basically it's these 3 girls that work for a magazine called Scarlet. And I love it because one of the characters is actually, like, head of the social media for the magazine, and that would be my dream job, is to just run social media for any company. For a magazine, it would be, like, a dream. So definitely a good one to watch if you're into, like, artsy social media stuff like that. One of my favorite shows. Okay, now the next streaming service is Amazon Prime. A lot of those you have to buy, and so I don't watch a lot of Amazon Prime, but they do have, like, their Amazon Prime originals, I guess is what you would call it. And my favorite one that I've watched is Jack Ryan with John Krasinski. It's very good because when you think of John Krasinski, you think of The Office and just humor, and this is very action-packed, serious, and so it's cool to see a different side of his acting compared to watching him on The Office for, like, 9 seasons. So it's a good one if you're into, like, action, like, solving crime type stuff. The last one that I have on my list, it's a movie, and you have to buy it. But I've watched it, like, 3 times. It's one of my favorites. It's called Ford versus Ferrari. If you're into car racing, it's based around a true story. So good. I hate the ending, but it's what happens in real life. Don't go look it up. Go watch the movie because it's so good. And it made me want to be a race car driver, even though I'm 21 and it's probably too late for me, and I don't have money. So that is the end of my list. I know that these times are, like, awful because a lot of us college students, me especially, are doing schoolwork, and also bored out of our mind. So these are definitely just like a lot of shows that you can binge, and maybe you can watch them at night after you have all your schoolwork done, because they're easy, sit down, simple to watch. Some of them will drag you in and you'll want to be up all night. I will warn you. So just be prepared for that. Alright, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at supernut98, and I will see you tomorrow.